In the 1960s, the American art world was getting more and more commercialized. But at the same time, there was a rising trend towards environmentalism across the country. And so the land art movement was born when a group of artists wanted to get people out of museums and back into nature that they twisted, shaped and literally played with. To tell us about how the land art movement is doing today and more, we cross over to art critic Suzaan Boettger now. Hi Suzaan, thank you so much for joining us on Showcase today. So I think this term might confuse some people. So tell us what land art is. Is it any kind of art in nature?
Yes. Land art, by its very definition, is made out of the cities. It was made in remote terrains. And it's a historical phenomenon. It was 1960s, say, through the 70s. After that, it's no longer called land art. People weren't doing it for a while. Now they're doing something very much more attuned to the environment than they did then. There was a kind of simultaneity, a concurrence between Rachel Carson's 1962 kind of spark of environmentalism, her book Silent Spring, and the onset of land art. However, they're actually discrete. They're actually separate. Land art was not environmentalist, as anyone will tell you who complains about the massive amounts of earth that were upturned or even dynamited by Michael Heiser. Land art came out of an art world style called minimalism, which was very rectilinear, very boxy, very reduced in its artistic facture, very simplified, so that the thrust of the art experience was thrown onto the viewer to walk through the environments, the interior environments of minimalism, and experience one's own size and weight, girth and body. And the earthwork artist took that, expanded it, and made very minimalist forms in deserts.
But let me ask you this, is land art anywhere as relevant as it was half a century ago, or do you think it's just a forgotten chapter in art history books?
Well, neither. I mean, I don't think it's particularly relevant. I mean, any more than Cubism is relevant. Or you could say it's an early form of artists working in the environment. But the form they're working in the environment, they wouldn't do that now. Because for two reasons. First of all, no one would fund it. And second of all, it's been done. Well, actually, the third reason, the main reason, is because now anyone who has any sense is concerned about climate change. And they're making art, if they make it in nature, to say, reclaim destroyed sites, or clean water, or clean air. They're making works that have a more environmentalist, positive intention, as you'd say. Whereas there, it was very much about cowboy bravado, making big works to show how masculine and strong they were. And people just, the ideas of art and of gender have changed. So it's interesting as a historical phenomenon. Now, on the other hand, we could say, why do people still come to visit the Spiral Jetty, which is the picture behind me, the Robert Smithson gigantic earthwork, which is 1,500 feet long and 15 feet wide, made over a month or so in Utah, and the Great Salt Lake.
It's very famous. It's
still go
there. The pivotal work, isn't it? But Suzaan, one more question before we run out of time about that and about a lot of land art works. Some people call land art like arrogant vandalism. What do you say to them very quickly before we wrap up?
I would say, yes, it was. I mean, sometimes it was. Michael Heiser, you know, he said he loves to be in that unraped, you know, pure desert, and then he dynamited 240,000 tons. You know, yes, it was. But
Well,
that
this is
was,
great,
we had a
Suzaan.
different orientation toward nature then than we do now.
Suzaan, this is great, very
I mean, now we
informative,
wouldn't
very
do this.
amazing interview, but unfortunately we've run out of time. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, or thank you. Okay.